So, the month is September. Very soon, it will be October. And then it'll be November! And that means the 60th anniversary will come out. Boy, am I excited. And in the 60th anniversary, we are going to get two Doctors together. The 14th Doctor, played by David Tennant, and the 15th Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa. And we could even get more. Fingers crossed, I would love to see some other Doctors make cameos in an anniversary special. But this has inspired me. What Doctor pairings would I like to see on screen? One thing is, I'm not going to mention Doctor pairings that have appeared before together. Whether that's in the show, for example, 1 through 5, I've kind of all met each other one way or another. And there are some examples in Big Finish where Doctors have already met each other, such as each of 4, 5 and 6 have all met the 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant, through Big Finish, so I'm not going to suggest that here, but I might make a mistake if they've appeared together through something else. I'm sorry. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the pairings in Doctor Who that I'd like to see together. Now, first up, we're going to go with someone to go with Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor. Ooh, trolls, come at me. I'm ready for ya. Now, for me, the big debate here was 11 and 13 or 10 and 13. Honestly, I'm gonna say them both. 11 and 13 are kind of like quite similar Doctors. They really exist on the very fun end most of the time, but then have really serious, extreme moments, and I think that could work and be interesting. They're such similar Doctors that I'd love to see their interactions. I think they'd be quite friendly with each other. And honestly, 10 and 13, mainly because I love Broadchurch. And honestly, bringing those two together would just be fun and entertainment value for me. And as it's my video, you have to sit through that. Next up, I'm going for a darker one that also wouldn't really be possible anymore unless you kind of got like recasts, or you'd have to do it in a certain way, but in a way that can't really happen anymore. I'd love to see William Hartnell's first Doctor, or obviously David Bradley, and John Hurt's War Doctor together. Just because I think it will be a very boring answer to go, oh, let's have William Hartnell / David Bradley meet Ncuti, because they've come so far on this big journey. You know, not to criticise them doing that with Peter Capaldi, they kind of did that, but they found an interesting way to do that. But where I think the interesting discussion comes is having William Hartnell's Doctor meet the John Hurt War Doctor and the decision that John Hurt has to make. Seeing that and how far the Doctor has come, and that being probably the biggest point in their life, and having to make that decision, I think would be very interesting to see those two characters discuss. If you could do that in an interesting way, I think that would be very interesting, because that's the most, if any of these, and one of them had to be a how far has the Doctor come answer, I think that, to me, is the most interesting. Now, this, to me, is one with definitely a less solid reason, but you know what? I would just love to see it. And again, this one probably wouldn't be possible. But you've got Jon Pertwee's 3rd Doctor and Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. Again, these are two of my favourite Doctors, and I love them. And especially, I had to get some Jon Pertwee representation in there, because he's my favourite classic Doctor. I love Jon Pertwee. Weirdly, especially Jon Pertwee, but Matt Smith as well, they were both quite action-heavy Doctors. You know, they both kind of occasionally got involved with bits of the fighting themselves, and I think that could be really interesting to see explored further. I also think Matt Smith in Unit worked really, really well, obviously with Gemma Redgrave's first appearance as Kate Stewart, and obviously Jon Pertwee is known for being the stuck at Earth and working with Unit for most of his tenure as the Doctor. So I think, imagine this. This is the pitch. You've got Jon Pertwee, Matt Smith, Unit, Shaboom. I reckon you could throw Riversong in there, because I reckon Jon Pertwee, as in the 3rd Doctor, I don't know why I keep switching between actor and Doctor names, but I reckon the 3rd Doctor and Riversong would have gotten on fantastically well. And overall, Sean Pertwee, can we find a way to give him enough money to do a couple of episodes in one way or another? Because my God, I love the 3rd Doctor, and I will find a way to shoehorn him in. It's the 3rd Doctor and Sontarans. I just love those two beings. Yeah. Nostalgia, it plays a role. So for this next idea, we've got a housemate suggested idea. Do you want to come explain your idea that you've you've just come into frame. Explain your idea that you've just decided to have. Oh, sorry, yeah, we'll lower the camera for you because you're really short.
I'm not sure.
Oh, diddums. There we are. Explain your pick.
Guys, I hate to say it to you, there was no thought process behind it. He said pick a number between
I did not say pick a number. I said pick an incarnation. Don't do me dirty.
He said pick an incarnation. So I said 7 and 4.
Can you even name the actors that were the 7th and 4th Doctors? Look at the cameraman. Come on.
I'm afraid I do love Doctor Who, but I can't name you all the Doctors. I'm afraid 7 is Matt Smith, right?
7 is Matt. Sorry, I've got that on camera.
Sorry. Tom Baker is
the 4th Doctor.
Okay,
well done.
so 4th Doctor. Who's the 7th?
It begins with an S.
Sarah Jane. No, she's not even a doctor.
No, she's not. But that was emotional beats. Well done.
Sylvester Stone. Sylvester Crow.
Why are you just saying?
Am I supposed to be looking in the camera or the viewfinder?
You're supposed to look in the camera, not the viewfinder. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know it, James. I'm afraid.
Do you mean Sylvester McCoy?
I mean Sylvester McCoy. But
yeah, right, banging. Yeah, thank you. I mean. Honestly, sorry, I'll move the camera back up because I'm of a normal height. Thank you. Honestly though, I mean the 4th and 7th Doctors, they're both kind of kooky, but then do the serious stuff. I think those would be very intellectual conversations. What I'd love to see from the 4th and 7th Doctor is a podcast. The Tom Baker Sylvester McCoy podcast would be absolutely fantastic. And finally, this is the one that actually inspired this video because I saw an idea where 10 and 14 meet each other. Now, I think this would kind of only work on Big Finish, and it depends if David Tennant could bring the voice up, just because I think not only does Doctor Who not really have the budget to properly... Well, they kind of did it with 11 meeting himself, but I would be probably interested in seeing this on Big Finish, and especially because I don't think they'll do this in live action, but I think 10 and 14 would be a really cool incarnation pairing. Just because they look the same, we don't know exactly about 14's personality, but they'll probably have similar elements to them, but 14 being that more experienced Doctor, and I think could help meeting 10 nearing the end of his life, those two perspectives together would be really, really interesting. And let's be honest, it's also completely 100% for the David Tennant Inception. I mean, people kind of hate on David Tennant. Fuck them. Let's have David Tennant. Let's have all of the Tennant incarnations. Let's have David 10, David 10.5, and the 14, and the Meta Crisis Doctor, and the Old Man Doctor from the end of Series 3 to recreate the Holy Quintilogy. Quadrilogy is 4, but is Quintilogy 5? Who knows? We are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. I beg you, please join that journey in the comments down, but in the comments? No, hit the subscribe button, but comment as well and like. And if you want to see more fantastic videos, click this one here. Please, I beg you, like me and you, let's go on this journey through YouTube together, through that bloody video. Thank you. Cheers. What was that? I'm sorry, everyone.